Alright, well, hopefully those links work. Minimize that. Oh, actually, I need that open. I wasn't expecting a Russian man to rap at me in this electronic mix. And you guys weren't expecting ramps! Holy shit! But, you know, subverting expectations, that's what I'm all about here. As well as chewing on salad. So, we got these ramps. We got vibrated. I don't know why. I don't know why anything happens anymore. So, let's get to work on some shit here. Hello, Rimtech, welcome back. Gonna be working on some Zerg AI today. Nah, dude, they got the Overmind. What are you talking about? Dude, this is a real fucking strange mix of stuff that I've experienced today. No, you said they're brainless. That's not true. They have a brain. Their brain is called the Overmind. Bum, bum, bum. What a wild mix of music. The question is, do I want them to wait until they have Queen Nest? I think what these guys will probably do is they'll wait until they start their lair before they worry about expanding. They'll expand as they get their lair or something. I don't think they're under pressure for any anti-air stuff, so we can just delete that. Terrans don't have access to any air or anything. P6, Chestnut Zerg. And... now the main question is... EXP... how many expansions did I set up for this guy? 4, right? Yeah, I mean... the thing about including wraiths is I don't mind having, you know, giving the player the idea, or the ability, rather, to build starport tech, or like build air units. That's not the reason why I'm not including them. It's just, in order for wraiths to be useful, they're like very niche units. I guess they could be good at scouting or something, but you're mostly going to be fighting against Zerg. And I guess that they could be utilitarian in harassing or picking off overlords. You're not really going to be able to use them against Terrans because they have missile turrets. And they need... it's not like it's logical for them to build the turrets because they could be attacked by Mutalisks. So it doesn't make any sense to remove the turrets, right? Although they probably won't get too many consats. So I guess you could, like, try to go for Wraith harassment or something. The thing is, what are you doing with Wraiths that you couldn't be doing better with another strat? Like, I don't know. I don't know about that one. So I'm probably going to keep Wraiths out of this particular mission. And I don't mind including them the next time you're not... I mean, the next mission is an installation mission. So you won't have access to air units inside there, but I don't mind including them in Revolution, which is where they originally were included as well, to begin with. Yeah, well, I mean, like, in a... They are a niche unit, and that's fine by me for them to be niche. There probably should be more of an all-purpose unit, or maybe not an all-purpose unit, but like some sort of reason, like an every... Well, I don't know. They don't need to be super useful. Like, really, I want to add more reason to build dropships and dropship harass an AI or something. Like, you're supposed to use... In Melee, you're supposed to build dropships against Zerg and try to contest a lot of their bases. And so it makes sense to do that in that case, but I don't know about anything else, really. It's a lot of, you know, building, spending 150 minerals and 100 gas on a starport, and then 150 minerals and 100 gas on a Wraith, and then buying their cloak and all their other upgrades and stuff to make them useful. Like, even to make them harass-worthy, you'd probably need, like, you know, 1 or 2. That's a pretty big investment just to snipe some overlords, right? And they're completely useless against the Terrans, really, so... I don't think that including them here will be super useful. Hello, Bailiff, welcome back. Alright, so we came to the conclusion for this that we did 5 expansions. If I can find... or it's 4 expansions. Oh, I actually commented this out. I guess I didn't bother doing it. Well, let's find the XP3 town then. Right, and at that point, Bailthal, you could just buy other units, right? You could spend other money on other units if you really wanted something like that. I think that's... 4th base is supposed to be they take yellow's base or something. If purple doesn't. Because they have 1, 2, 3. So it makes sense for them to then take that as their 4th. So that's why I didn't do that, because I didn't bother setting that up yet. So... we'll do set ID 17, base layout, hatchery set 1700. And where else are they going to put their hatches? So glad DF sent me those ramps. Check them out, dude. Beautiful. They're sort of fucky perspective-wise, but you get used to them. At least I have. Yeah, unlike the disgusting... excuse for ramps that we got from Blizzard. Yeah. Well, they're actually at the proper angle. They're not just like the community universe ramps that people made with blends. I still can't believe they fucking did that, dude. That's so insane. He also sent me an extension for the front one, which was very kind of him. Yeah, for the small ones, tanks can fit. I had to do a little bit of fuckery for some of the tiles where they look they're actually deceptively wide. Like, tanks can just go up and down this. But small price to pay, I think. I think they'll still be functional. What's going on? Christopher Ang, welcome back. You do indeed see ramps. These are the work of DF. Darkened Fantasies. My art guy. My ramp guy. My frog guy. I'm not gonna dignify that with a response. There's our frog. Or a frog. Hashtag not my frog. Should I wave for the pun? I don't even know what that means, dude. I did put a wave emoji in some map somewhere. One of the map crab maps, I think. And then I put a frog emoji in Nemesis Omega, which is psychotic. I don't know why I did that. Definitely unreasonable. I don't know about the Spire location. I mean, I kind of like it because it's just sort of out in the middle of nowhere. And aesthetically, it looks sort of haphazard like the Zerg are likely to do. But it should probably be in a safer position. At least their first one. Might make a bit more sense if it's tucked away in a corner like that. Yeah, they are. And they were also... I moved them to somewhere else, too. Like, I used them in multiple productions. Alright, we'll put it right there. Block too much pathing. Thankfully, Zerg units on the ground are pretty small, so they won't be affected too negatively by the pathing. Okay. So, what else we got? Only question is, do they fortify against the Confederates first or the player first? Maybe it's a random selection. They randomize who they target. Stop vibrating, stupid phone. This is location 24. Oops. Get out of here. Let's see. That's 24, right? This is kind of fucky the way that I have to do this, but basically, or it'll just be one or the other, I think. Oh no, we can do that. set. Okay. So this is going to be them spamming out a bunch of hashes in the city, but they fortify a certain area. So this will also determine some of the creep colony placements. The expansion will take care of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 8 or so that are over here. But this will be part of the main. The south block, the east block, and the west block will be part of the main. Spire will be maybe part of the expansion. I think that's fine. So... in the first case, we're going to have them fortifying against the Confeds first. Then the south side and the east side. And we'll just do it like counterclockwise or whatever for the other options. Although these north two will be the last ones every time. So other than that, it'll be counterclockwise. Copy this over, and then we know that these three, let's move that to the bottom. And then these three over here, and we just got to correct the values of the priorities so that they're their correct order. Okay. And then we'll handle creep colonies as well, in the same sort of fashion, but I don't know how many creep colonies I'm going to have in the main yet. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. That should be easy enough. So we do... Or actually, I guess it should be like east. 1, 2. Hope everybody's week has been going well so far. I've been enjoying the amount of work I've been able to get done, that's for sure. Outside of what I've been doing on stream, I've been working on a number of projects. So it's looking good on that front. Should have something to show for it relatively soon. Hey, what's going on, Vic? Welcome back. You know, one issue that I've noticed with base layout on a sort of technical, like, theory perspective or whatever is you get into a situation where you have to hope that the AI behaves properly when rebuilding. Like, say a situation arises where, like, I requested a spawning pool over here. I'll place it for a demonstration. But then the players, this AI requests a spawning pool here. That spawning pool gets destroyed along with this whole right side. Then they have no creep here, but they want to rebuild the spawning pool. Like, hopefully, I'm hoping that they don't just rebuild it somewhere else and then screw up a bunch of other base layout declarations. Like, maybe they build it off-center because the creep's only over here, but that, like, interferes with the placement of the hatchery or something like that. Like, I wouldn't want that to happen. So, there's still some bugs, obviously, as we saw the last time I was testing this, where the AI sometimes stacks their structures or builds them in the wrong spots. But outside of that, like, with creep and also with pylon power, like if you wipe out a pylon and a gateway and they try to rebuild the gateway before the pylon's up, what do they do with that? Like, that's an obvious situation where something bad could happen there. So I just hope that there's a way to resolve that issue, I guess. I'm sure there will be somehow, some way. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, the declaration doesn't request, Chris. It just tells the AI where it gives it AI a specification for where it can build certain structures. If you only declare 2 barracks and you request 3 barracks, the AI will not have a declaration for the 3rd barrack, so they'll just use the default build algorithm for that 3rd one, but they'll build the first 2 in the declarations that you place them in. So it doesn't create a request, it just tells the AI where it can satisfy that request. So you could also do the other way, where you can set up, 10 declarations for something that you only request 5 of. So say you set up 10 barracks declarations, only request 5 barracks, the extras become fallbacks. So the AI basically looks and says, can I satisfy it in the 1st declaration? No, I'm going to go to the 2nd declaration. Still can't do it the 3rd, just goes down the list to determine where to build. And if it runs out of declarations that it can use to satisfy the request, because there's not enough or the locations are blocked, it will just use the default algorithm. The issue comes when there's valid placements for a player, like over here, where this barracks is. And the issue with that is, and this one as well, this northmost one, for some reason their proximity to the cliffs make the AI not want to build there currently. So that needs to be fixed so that the AI can build against cliffs more reliably, just like a player would. And so in those cases, it just moves down the list of barracks declarations, which can obviously be an issue if it's not intentional. I theorized that there could be a potential solution to this by making an opcode, like a header command, that tells the AI to wait for creep before it even considers sending a drone to try to build there. And obviously this would only be something to worry about if the structure required creep. So for hatcheries and extractors, it wouldn't bother, because then it would just In some cases, there would never be creep there because it needs the hatchery there first. Obviously, extractors, there's never creep underneath the geyser unless you pre-play something in a weird order. But aside from those two, this would basically just say, you know, in addition to checking if the base layout area is clear when trying to use it for building, I also need to check if it has creep, and then there would be a similar command for power, for pylon power. And that way, I think that would resolve the issue. Because one of the other side effects is, even if the AI doesn't rebuild the structure in a stupid spot, they still will send their drones to where they want to build their structure, but can't because of a lack of creeper power. They'll still send their workers to that location, and they'll just basically be spinning back and forth between the mineral line. And it's inefficient for mining resources, and also looks really stupid and completely breaks immersion immediately. So, I would ideally like to avoid having issues like that crop up. So hopefully we can get that resolved. iQuare said when he comes back, he'll be looking into resolving the existing bugs, and then maybe he can also look into some of the suggestions that I've been writing down with the intent of handing him at some point. But I'm not sure when he'll be back. He's still studying programming, off on a retreat. Okay. So, we have our north, south, east, and west. Now, as I recall, east just got shuffled down here. So this is south. 3, west. East. This is north. We're starting in the east up here. East. Or we're starting in the west, sorry. Then east. And then north. Or south. So then we can take these creep colonies, and this is for the east, so we can find out where the east is. South. And west. And now we have the very fun job of counting down from the proper number, which is 92, it looks like. Alright, then we just need to do that one more time. Oh, I skipped the number somewhere. We're supposed to end at 78. So we start at 92, right? 92, 1, 0, 89, 88, 87, 86, 85, 84, 83, 82, 81, 80, 79, 77. What? Did I skip a number over here? 92, 91, 90, 89, 88. Oh yeah, I did. Everything else was correct. Okay, cool. Well, now we have our pseudo-random 1 in 3 chance to change up where they fortify their base, which I think is a nice little touch. A neat little thing that came out of nowhere, and I decided to to make it happen. So that's cool. Let's finish this here. We have spawning pool set 100. This Hydra extends 100. This chamber. Chamber. What else do we grab? A spire and a queen's nest. And that's it. Okay. Before we get too carried away there. Finish the declarations. The real fun will begin when we have to do the expansions later on, but I actually don't think that the Zerg will be as complicated to code in as the Terrans were, just on the basis of the I don't have to worry about bunkers nearly as much, for one. I don't have to worry about Overlord requests really that much either, considering the AI will just build them whenever they need them. So there's, I mean, as much creep colony declarations as I'm going to make here, like as much as I have made, there's not nearly as many, I don't think, or it's at least comparable to like the combination of supply depots, missile turrets, and bunkers. Like it's that number is way higher, I think, compared to the creep colonies. And we're looking at roughly the sphere of influence for this player. Like eventually they will take the main of orange if orange dies, or the main of yellow if yellow dies, I think. Let's see what I put down for that. Nah, plateau. Oh, they also contest this space, yeah. I think that's supposed to be min only, but I wrote mid only for some reason. Reminds me. Do I request a refinery here? I do, okay. I'll go for these clowns. Let's see, a refinery request. In fact, I don't see one anywhere. Oh, I didn't ever do their expansions, that's fine. That would explain it. Okay. So yeah. Looking like a good start here. This will be a shorter mod stream than some of my other ones where I actually got to go in like 2 hours and change, 2.5 hours almost. So I'll be bailing out around that time. But until then, we can get some work done on some Zerg, dude. Some Zerg here. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool, personally. I mean, there is the idea that maybe sometimes you should start with some extra units here and there or whatever, and the AI enemies should start with some extra units here and there. But there's also, like, in situations where you're meant to be going up against, like, an entrenched position, if you're all starting on the same ground, but there's, like, more AI enemies than there are you, like, if there are more people on the AI's team than there are on your team, then that to me is, like, still an advantage. And you can just have one AI specialize in setting up a bunch of defenses, or all AI have some element of setting up defense, and then figure out what else you're doing with task rolls or something. I haven't really gotten to a point where I'm making a map like that, where you're sieging something down. Like, think the end of the Zerg campaign, where you're sieging the Protoss down. Like, I'm probably going to start the Protoss out with a Nexus and 4 probes, you know? But that doesn't mean that they will all be behaving the same way that they all, you know, they're not going to copy each other in terms of their strats. They're going to have their own ideas of, you know, their own objectives, I guess you could say. Their own tasks to do. And one of them may decide to just build a bunch of cannons and turtle up and eventually mass carrier or something goofy, like something you might see in a team game, ironically enough. Like, they might just decide to go for a Stargate heavy build, but that requires them to expand and then entrench themselves. And then it'll still feel, I think, that like you're up against a player or a faction of Protoss that are deeply rooted into that position without having to pre-place a bunch of stuff, you know? So... you also get to scout out ahead and see what's going on with all that stuff, which I think is neat. I still might pre-place some things in Hydra and other campaigns. Like, I still might pre-place a couple of set pieces or whatever, where like there's some reinforcements that were here before you, some lost refugees or something that aren't organized enough to be a base of their own, an AI of their own, but still exist on the map. Like a creep camp in Warcraft 3 almost. But I think that there will be there's still a lot of room for making all of the engagement you know, natural to what an RTS is. I have been thinking though that there's a pretty strong chance that I could completely forget what makes the more intimate campaigns out there special and enjoyable to play. And so I am considering working on a smaller side project at some point that will let me make some smaller scale maps that are more like a conventional like campaign, what you might see out of a campaign. They would still have a bunch of AI work to them, and they just wouldn't be as large scale in the same sense. Hey, what's going on, Rawflush? How you doing? Welcome back. You have a question? How can you switch MP3 to Soundwave? Yeah, they have to be wave format. So you can use Audacity. It's a free program. I don't know what their latest versions look like, but it's something like this. So I don't know what what would I do here for an MP3? I assume these are MP3s. So in this case, I have an MP3 here, and I can just open this MP3, and then I go to File, Export, Export as WAV, and then you can fill in the metadata if you want, and now I have an MP3 version and a WAV version, and I can take this WAV version and add it to my map. So that would be how you would do that. It's called Audacity. So if you just, here, I'll get you a download link, actually. No problem, dude. Yeah, it's a pretty common one, so you'll find out more tools as you learn more about that sort of thing. But feel free to ask any questions. Real question is... do I want spawning pool into Macroachi? I think I do. I think I do. I probably want to do some move this out of the way, it's bothering me. Alright. So at this point they'll have these two Sunkens to protect them against Confederate rushes. They'll have built this hatchery, this spawning pool. So they can go ahead and build Oh wait, they don't really need spores, I just realized. It's pretty funny. What's going on, Imperator? Welcome back. You want to see him? DF did a pretty good job. I mean, these are pretty old news. I extended those from the original backwards one. That's not actually the original, but... This one and these ones are the newest additions to the family. They sort of look funky at first. I remember thinking that the perspective was off originally, but it actually does make sense. And it's way better than the remastered ones, obviously. And we've got these ones who DF also sent me, these expanded front-facing ones. I'm probably going to make a blend that doesn't have that stupid line in them, so that I don't feel psychotically like OCD and want to blend it with these tiles. Yes, I already have the pathing hooked up for them. They're actually pretty wide, the front-facing ones. I mean, the backwards-facing ones. Mostly because, in this case, in the really thin ones, in order to make tanks fit, I had to make this whole tile, this whole area, that whole square is like completely pathable, I think. Yeah, just about. So, in order to have tanks be able to path through there, that had to happen. Because the perspective is correct, but obviously, like, there's issues with the way that the, like, how thin it actually is in terms of how visible it is. So. But it should be fine. In practice. Though I suppose we'll find out soon enough. He's going to be working on the backwards asphalt ramps sometime later on this week or next week, so that'll be really exciting to get those taken care of. After that, I think it's just temple ramps. Well, there's like... There's backwards temple. I'm probably gonna have him make like a new frontwards temple ramp if he doesn't mind it. That isn't quite so annoyingly large. Like, it's really, the jungle temple ramp is super large, and it's kind of annoying to have such a large ramp all the time. So maybe we can make a more ergonomic design. But I'll wait until later on to even ask him about that, because he's a busy boy. Actually, there's only 6, right? So, that's fine. Yeah, so I've been working on AI basically every stream this week, but we made a functional version of purple. We made a functional version of white, and even did all of his expansions and stuff. I don't think I did his attacks though. And now we're doing Chestnut. He's got a cool little bit that I did a little bit earlier today on the stream, where he has a random chance to choose to fortify a different order of these pathways into his like area, his sphere of influence. So once he takes this base, he randomly decides whether to fortify east, southwest, southwest, east, or I guess west, east, south would be the other one. So it's like a counterclockwise, or I guess it is clockwise actually. It just rotates. In terms of placing these colonies and stuff. Meanwhile, during that time that he's going to be doing that, we're going to have the expansion also building colonies as like a fallback set of defenses. So this AI is going to be pretty sunken heavy, since obviously there's not really any need for spores. The players in the other Terrans can't build air. But you'll see quite a few defenses. Really really vindicates the idea that I introduced siege tanks in the first mission. Because otherwise, without tanks, I don't know how you would do this. But I may have overplaced creep colonies, and in practice, if I need to tone it down for whatever reason, I think that's fine. But mostly worried about making something that functions at this point. Let's see. Well, all the AI are not done. After I finish with Chestnut, I still have to do Orange, and I still have to do Yellow. The single-player AI ally is also barely functional. I think I did their town threads, maybe some expansion stuff, but I didn't do anything else. Purple needs their expansions. White needs his attacks. So probably next week will be when I'm finally done. If I do another 3 Hydra dev streams next week, like I did this week, then we should be able to, like the next stream would probably be about Orange, and then the one after that would be Yellow, and then we would have 1 or 2 streams left over to like finalize all the details and finish all of the other AI as much as you can when you're still dealing with a kind of a buggy code base. Well, this one won't be like, I don't know, it might be. Part of the difficulty, or part of the testing rather, will be assessing the difficulty and whether or not it should be as hard as it is, or as easy as it is, or whatever. But we'll see. This time next week, I hope to have a much more complete map. At some point, I'm also going to add the higher dirt, like cliff stacking tiles to the tile set so that I can put them in this area and this area. I think those are the only areas where I intended to use them. Oh, no, the second player's base has a bunch. There's probably going to be some down on the bottom right for aesthetics, maybe down over here as well. So... this whole area is kind of, it feels almost extraneous. Oh, I forgot to do the actual custom ramp over here. This whole area kind of feels extraneous, but I do think that it's good that there's a way for some of the AI to circumvent this player and attack player 1 from the, or player 2 from the rear. You know, as like a harassment attack or something. That was one of the things that I wanted to do with this level design, was the previous mission. I actually want to open that up so that I can show you guys what I'm talking about here, because I think this is a pretty big point. But I don't really know what other opportunity I'm going to have to offer that point up. So, in this context, we have, you know, this is the first player's start location. This is the second player's start location. But based on where the other AI start, like this is your allied AI, and they try to block off all of these pathways to defend themselves. This is an AI over here, and these are 2 AI. In order to get to... in order for, like, Orange, for example, to attack the first player, or, God forbid, the second player, look at the pathway they would have to take. Like, they could take this bottom left pathway, for sure. That is an option. But... they'd have to go through the AI ally in order to do that. And if the first player has secured this base, they're not going to ever touch the second player until they wipe that out, right? They could try to go a long way around and go like all the way over here through the yellow base and to attack there. That would basically be the only other way to do it. And likewise, for the player to attack, you know, Chestnut, they have to walk through their ally in order to circumvent yellow, right? It's like there's not enough. I feel like there's not as many pathways as there should be between the bases that allow you to outmaneuver your enemy. Like the map should be wider almost and taller by like just a couple of tiles that allow me to create more pathways for that sort of purpose. Like if this was expanded to the left by like 8 tiles or something, then I could add a pathway that doesn't involve this taking the high ground at all. You take a longer low ground approach, and Orange can still reach, you know, player 1 and player 2. And if you did the same thing on this side, on the right, you could do the same thing with yellow. The players themselves could go through player 2's base or something. There could be like a ramp on the upper right of his base that leads out into a low ground path that goes around yellow's base. And, you know, stuff like that. Like, it's a little bit different with the AI ally, I think, because they're actively spending money on blocking off those pathways, just like the player could. But the fact that there's only, like, so many pathways or whatever, I definitely think that there should be more in this case. And so that's sort of a regret of this concept, is that the map feels, like, pretty active, the map feels pretty big overall. And I don't really want to make it too much bigger in order for it to be, like, a proper first map and introduction or whatever. But at the same time, this current concept feels a little too linear, a little too, like, there's again, too few pathways, too few options for the player. So it's one way I think that this particular map is superior in that sense. It could be better too. Like there could be a way to go around this expansion or something on the upper left. But I'm getting there, man. Alright, you know that there's... Yeah, so what kind of what kind of work are you doing with that? Like, what is the work on the AI that's being done, or what news are you waiting for regarding? Is there like somebody trying to make some technical, like some tool for you to use, or is it just research? Oh, right. And you can't do that with your current... Like, that's just not possible? Or is it just something you're not 100% sure how to do? That's crazy that you guys don't have that kind of control. I mean, even without the... like, even out of the box, StarCraft can do that. You just have to structure your map in a kind of goofy way. Or just, you just need to know where that stuff is, which was hard, like an element of psychosis into itself until recently. We didn't really have the tools for it. Yeah, you can do that. You can detect like a certain amount of force in a location, or I think on the map, and then make the AI attack or something. There's like a weird melee opcode for that. It's so crazy to me that you can't make them use transport. At least I haven't seen it in action. Alright, so this goes south first. Alright. I don't know why that started in the middle of nowhere, but whatever. Here we go. Yeah, that's crazy that they didn't bother to do basically any AI. Yeah, that's nuts. I mean, they were pretty lazy with the Brood War AI as well. They didn't. I don't think the AI ever expands in the campaign, for example. Like, not quite as lazy as what you're describing, but still pretty bad. So this is 11 and 12. This is 13 and 14. We have 16, 17, 18, 19. All right, now we get to do that again. So this is west. Oh, so really I should just be moving this up here. This here. Should be good there. Yeah, I really don't get the whole Warcraft 3 AI stuff. Like, it would be one thing if they still interacted with you, but with the other mechanics as well. But they don't. They barely... Like, I think there are a handful of maps that actually use heroes in the waves. Like, especially in Frozen Throne, they seem to do that more often with Lady Vosh and Illidan. But they barely ever really used heroes against you, and that I can remember anyways. So, and maybe that's my faulty memory more so than anything else, but it feels pretty strange. This was 25 or something. 24. You don't even know what to ask the guy to improve it, to improve it, to be honest. Yeah, well, tell him to teach you how to make stuff in Brood War, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. That's pretty insane. They take this one next, right? So it's this. 18. Oh wait. How about this one? 19? 20. How much rest area is it? 12 and 17 respectively. Oh yeah, well that's right. There was also the Lich in that 30-minute holdout mission in the human campaign of vanilla, but I don't think they level up. They don't buy items. They don't creep. Like, that was one of the first things that I recommended Imperator to look into, is like making it so that the AI is beholden to resources, is beholden to creeping for their hero's strength, so that you can engage with them the same way that you do with the melee in a melee environment. Like, actually, I think that could be really neat, is figuring out like ways to make a Warcraft 3 campaign where you're actually playing parts of the like the same sort of melee stuff, but you have a a different environment. I know that you can tell the AI to creep, but I don't think they do it very well. I don't know. I don't know anything of technical details, I guess, but it still would be nice to see a bit more melee-styled gameplay than what we usually get. Which set ID did I have here? 17. Savage. Just do Marine. The Academy. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You don't really have, there's not very much R&D that's been spent on that, right? I guess I can get rid of the Marines that I put on the four corners of the map, since it's testing the anywhere location. That's pretty funny. Can you fix it so that they stop retreating after they destroy one structure? Because that is really psychotic and should not happen. If you can specify coordinates for attacks, you can just handle it that way. Detect if enemy units are there, like creep units are there, and make a move. Ah! What do you mean the AI has a hard time keeping up, like, with item strength or whatever? Bing bong 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 bing bang bong. Oh, I see. One thing that I still feel strongly about is resetting the player's hero level to 1 or something at the beginning of every mission. And making it so they have to re-level just like the AI would have to in that case. I don't really know how you would justify it. Like, it doesn't really make sense story-wise or whatever, but it would feel way better than just being able to get 1 level. Especially in the earlier levels, where your strength is not really incrementing the same way. Like, if you could set, maybe there's like a level cap, sort of. You know how like there's a tech tree cap, like you can only build so many units at the first mission, but you get access to tier 3 tech in the 3rd mission or something, whatever the case may be. You could do like a level cap of 5 in mission 1, and then increase it by 1 every time, but still reset the player's level back to 1. I think that would be a way to still have heroes scale up to be stronger over time, but still have the player have to invest that strength. That would also reduce the amount of pre-placed junk you would have to place on the map, because you're no longer in a position where you have to account for the player having a really powerful hero in the later missions. You can still make it so that they start from, less than an insane, starting point in terms of strength. So I don't know what you think about that one in particular, but I know it's a little bit of a contentious idea. Yeah, that's an interesting thought too, Beothal. I was thinking... Well, I would use a completely different set of mechanics than Warcraft 3 in a project like that. Like, I was already thinking of having champions. And the way that champions worked is you could give them 2 items. They would be able to benefit from holding those 2 items. They couldn't pick up tomes or runes or anything that was... Well, I guess they could probably pick up runes, but they wouldn't be able to pick up tomes or anything that's like a... bestows like a stat point or something. That would be for your hero specifically. I guess they'd be able to carry them, but those would be consumables like they were in like the very early stages of Warcraft 3, where you had to actually pick them up and then use them instead of them being permanent, like just a power-up. I would... So basically the way it works is your champions, their bank data stays. It's preserved. So if you keep your champions alive at the end of a mission... Like, you have to train them in order for them to exist at all. Then you can level them up to level 3, I think it was. Or some small level. So that there's a reward for keeping them alive. But you're not punished super heavily if you lose them. You just rebuild them. And then in the next mission, you have to summon them again. Sort of like heroes. From like a tier 2 tech structure. And their items were available in the shop for you to buy if you just wanted to get the items. But you didn't want to bother resummoning them. And so that would be how I would handle it, I think, is sort of the same way. Like, certain classes of items would be moved over to the shop, and you could purchase them, or you could, keep them in. And that way, it's very clear that items are a temporary advantage for that mission only, or those kinds of items are a temporary advantage for that mission only. Yeah, I didn't have an altar because you weren't able to revive your hero in my campaigns, or my concepts. But the altar was turned into what summoned the Champions Hall or whatever, what summoned the champions. And I think that was also going to be the item shop, or you upgrade the item shop to tier 2 and that unlocks the champions or something. I was going to combine it there because I felt like having too many buildings was kind of pointless in that case. But I think having certain items that are permanent and are transferred over with bank data, and then other items that get banked into your shop and stored there if you want to use them, that would be a useful way to make items have some... What's the term? They carry over between missions, so there is some permanence there, but you have to opt into using them if you want them. And those would be like the really powerful ones. Welcome back, Veek. We're just talking about ways to improve Warcraft 3 while I work on this AI. Excuse me. I don't remember what that map had. I was too busy getting blinded by the bloom. Those models were not properly configured when he used them. That could work too. I'm hesitant to completely remove leveling because I do like the idea that your hero can grow stronger every mission through ways that are intrinsic to that hero. You could still have abilities being swapped out from the altar. Without removing leveling. Though I don't know how that would work technically. Yeah, Warcraft 3 models in general are pretty terrible. Oops. Yeah, so what you would do is it would level up all... Well, so you'd have like a class system of your abilities where you'd have, you know, maybe like if you were looking at like a very basic example, it would be like there's an elementalist and an elemental mage or something, an archmage, and he can use, you know, he's got earth, water, fire, and air as his main classes of abilities or whatever. So you can put a point into Earth Mastery, Fire Mastery, etc., and that will level up all abilities of that type. This, I think, is really, really useful for like that sort of combination, that sort of system where you're leveling up a class of ability, and then choosing within that class what kind of ability you want from the altar or whatever. That could be pretty neat for something like what I was talking about, where your hero actually resets to level 1 at every mission, because then you have an element of scaling, you have an element of also decision making. Your hero becomes part of your build order. Your hero's abilities become part of your build order, and that way it's okay to experiment because, you know, you're not like undoing old work, right, that you put into it. Yeah. I'm all about that flexible stuff. Definitely my favorite kind of shit to make is when you have a lot of strats you can pull out. Was I at 19 here? Oh, I was at 18. Yeah, everything I make, as far as mechanics go, I strive to make sure that the AI can use that stuff. Obviously, that creates a lot of overhead, but what can you do? This is lock 18. Okay. Fat fingers, by the way. Yeah, I mean, it's all about your implementation. But in a game like Warcraft 3, where there's really not been much R&D lately, it's difficult to imagine a world where you can suddenly magic in a system like that. Oh, that's good to know. Map crap is every 2 weeks, so the 16th is our current plan for the next week. A week from this Saturday. Hopefully that works out for people. I guess I'll put that in here. It looks like campaign crap is in the lead in the poll for the next special event, which is next time. So, if anybody still wants to vote and wants it to be something different, or wants to put campaign crap even further ahead from the competition, it's only one vote ahead of polished turds. Vote now if you haven't. If it's campaign crap again, that'll be very it'll be very interesting. It'll be the second campaign crap that we've had. See what else we can do here. I don't think I'll be bothering with the second base yet. Want to do some other shit. I want to do the other base first, and then I'll do that later. Oh, that's like 3. That's mineral only, right? So this is mostly Zerglings. Battle cruiser. Let's see. I think I got all the EXP2s out. Oh, besides the fact that that's kind of a big one. Hey, welcome back, Archer Serpent. How you doing? Yeah, I hadn't seen you in a bit, but I hope you're doing well. Oh, shit. Kicking this one into overdrive, dude. Time to kick this Modstream into overdrive. It's a frog emoji, dude. Hold on. I'm putting coordinates in. I can't clap yet. How you doing, DF? Welcome back. There's my clap for you. Check out my ramps! Look at them! In high definition right there, man. Check that out, dude. And by my ramps, I of course mean your ramps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just got ramped. You and Rimtech with the ramp puns today. What even is a ramp dad? I guess that's you. You're the father of these ramps. That actually reminds me of something I have to document. There you go. Had to remember that. Don't say that.
Every day, we stray further from God and closer to Todd.
Bum, bum, bum. Oh yeah, how did I do the workers before? Forgot to get old peons for sure. Oh, did someone say reps? Welcome back, Luciferius. Hope you enjoyed the ramp. Dude, I actually do get excited about new ramps, so I don't know who's more goofy. Let's see. Just wait till we get that reverse asphalt one. Just wait till we get the fucking... I don't even remember what was after that. Oh yeah, the jungle temple stuff. Dude, we'll be swimming in ramps. Did I ever build more drones? Doesn't look like it. So I want to do 60. Void. You know, one thing I think we need is some way to tell the AI to transfer old workers so that they don't all hug the refinery. But I don't know where you would put that. That should probably be a header command or something. But I don't know what it would look like. Probably not like publicating them super aggressively or anything. I'll just be, you know, some of these streams will be testing the maps themselves live on stream with whoever wants to volunteer. And, no, that'll probably take a couple of streams just to get the balancing right and stuff. And then I can move on to the next map, the Jacob's installation. Wow, won't that be exciting? That will be so... Fuck, dude. To make a... Turn a micro map into a macro map. What was I going to do here? Yeah, fuck micromaps. Yeah, exactly. What? I got really confused there for a sec. Changes your wisdom windows to 32-bit. What? How does it work with that start town on X but don't assign all buildings and units to it? There's something to do with that. I think that's explained in Necron's AI document. Let me see if I can find it. Starts the AI script for town management. All of the computer players' buildings that are not inside of an area town get assigned to the last called start town. I don't know why. Huh. So there isn't really documentation for why that works, but if it's a brand new town that you are creating with an expansion or a create script command. No, Necron with a K. He's a guy over on StarEdit.net, and he's helped me with AI in the past. He's the one who made up the AI documentation, or one of the ones who did a lot of research in that department. But, yeah, I'm not sure why that happens, Veek, but it just works. It just works. You don't want to call it in the middle of the same town. I think when you're making a new town and you call it, it creates that new town, and I think that's it, man. It just creates a new town, so it doesn't assign stuff if there's already been a town created, I guess, would be the best way I could put that. So that's probably a V. Did that. Bing, bing, bong, ba, bing, bing, ba, bong, bong. Dude, they have so many hatcheries. Let me see here. They're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in that expansion. We know they get like 15 or something. Let's see if I can find it. It's further up. So they get 17 on the low ground, 6 over here, probably somewhere like 4 to 5 up here. So we're like at 28 or something hatcheries after they get this expansion. So the point is, if you let these guys scale up, they are going to be a fucking nightmare. In fact, I should probably, in the should probably have some sort of like hatch idle or something. But, we'll just do this. Okay.
Message retracted.
Some funky music, man. Message voided. Setting my sights on them for later on. So let's go back to the top, and we're going to be doing the max flames. Max. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why they don't let you just completely erase it, but YouTube's strange like that. All right, what is next? Fence. Upgrades. Okay. Oops. The AI won't be attacked by air in this mission because the Terrans don't have access to air units. Otherwise, I would have a separate loop for one for GG and one for AA. Or, like in the case of the Terrans, their AA calls are permanent, while their AG calls are permanent. And they don't cycle. The reason why I cycle them is so that there's some stuff that happens situationally, like they'll build some extra queens when attacked sometimes, but not all the times. And then in this case they also build extra Hydras and less Mutas. So it's just a little bit of variance. It's not too hard to write, not too expensive in terms of space, and it accomplishes the goal of making it so that the defense feels a little bit more varied. At least in my opinion, so works out pretty well. It's not really perceptible, but maybe I can find some way to better telegraph that information to the player. I guess it would just be a scouting mechanism or something. Still not 100% sure how that'll work out. What's next on the list? Queen, I think. That's what they build chronologically. This will actually be this. Okay. Find idle orders. It's been a while since I've written any of these. Come. All right, calm down, dude. Oh, this should have without spell effects. Snare. Okay. Oh shit, getting called out, dude. You mean these, Oh, this? This is just so that if I'm copying it, like I'm just looking at it at a glance, I know what player it's for. It's mostly for my own readability. It's a habit I have from a long time ago. Might not be the most productive one. Okay. So let's get the skeleton going here. I also need I don't know if you can combine players in that. That I will have to see later. What kind of plugins were you thinking of writing? Unfortunately, I don't think SEMDrift really has much that you can work with. Maybe it is possible to work with that, but I'm not familiar with what the process would be like. Okay, we got... Oops. This is the fourth. Okay. Yeah, YouTube also automates a lot of smileys, which is ruined. Like the full moon with face one that Rimtech usually uses. I'm pretty sure that's automated. I don't know what the hell he's doing. I thought he was manually typing full moon with face the entire time, which was crazy enough. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. What do you type to even get that smiley? That's what I want to know. That's the burning question on my mind. So this one is like here. Oh, you know what? This isn't right. Should be something like this. All right. So we got P1's attacks. That's going to be the most complicated set anyways. Alright. We're doing it, guys. We're making the AI. This grand act of creation is coming true. Really, a lot of these are just approximations at the end of the day, but... they should get the job done for a placeholder anyways. Keep wanting to call them confed. It's not specific enough. You know what? We'll do something a little bit more brave than that. Make them march through purple in a way, through yellow and purple. And we got... see you later, Archer Serpent. My chat didn't load until I clicked back on it, so for the past like 10 minutes I haven't seen any of your guys' messages. So if Archer Serpent is still there, have a good night, dude. Thanks for tuning in. Otherwise, that's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, so the name for Hydra was chosen just because I wanted like a project name for it. Originally, it was just called Co-op 2017 because that was the year we thought Necron and I came up with it, and then we thought, oh yeah, 2017, that'll be the year that we release it because we thought it was going to be pretty simple. But obviously, that didn't happen because we're still working. I'm still working on it in 2019. He's working on his own stuff, and I came up with the idea of Hydra just because it's got many heads and it's 2-player. There was also Project Nemesis, which is pretty epic. I came up with that because it was meant to be focused around you, like as a team, fighting one enemy, which would be your ultimate nemesis. Yeah, and I saw all that stuff afterwards. It's weird that that doesn't look anything like Kappa. It's pretty insane. YouTube needs to calm the fuck down, I think. So this is Yellow Man into White Fourth through Purple. Alright. Looks like you lost your mind. We knew it would happen eventually. And with that, all we have to do for this AI is do its guards and its attacks. Everything else is done. That's pretty fucking good for however short this stream was. Not even 2.5 hours and we did all that. That's pretty awesome. Oh man. That is racist. I can't believe they have a... They can't have an emoji called Black Nib. I'm just kidding. That's not racist. That's just true niggas right there. Thank you, Veek. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, aside from that, I don't know when the next Hydra dev stream will be. I'm going to be taking a bit of a break on the 10th and the 11th, which is Sunday and Monday of next week. But I think after that, you know, Tuesday is a good day to... we'll either be doing Red Alert with Dynamo, or we'll be doing a Hydra dev stream that day. I'm basically alternating them. So you got... you know, Hydra, then Red Alert, then Hydra, then Red Alert. And that's how I've been handling it so far. Now that I think about it, since Sunday I've been doing that. And tomorrow we're planning on another Red Alert stream, so that'll have been 6 days in a row. It's pretty cool. I don't have anything planned for Saturday for a stream. I might end up doing a 4th Hydra dev stream, but I'm not 100% sure. So maybe we'll do one Saturday, since I'm going to be taking a break the next 2 days after that. But we'll see. See what happens. Did I beat Allies? No. That is tomorrow. Dynamo and I will be beating the Allies campaign. So you guys can stay tuned for that. Now I think there's only the last micro mission that we have to deal with, and then the last mission is after that. So there's only 2 maps. So we might also be, depending on how long it takes us to do those, we might also start on the Soviet campaign in that stream. We'll see how we feel after we complete the missions there. But at this rate, if we keep getting tripped up by that stuff, I'm probably going to play the Soviet campaign on normal instead of on hard. Unless we can resolve the issue with the resolution, because it's really hard for me to focus on what's going on when I am playing at 640 by 480 on a minimized, like a 1920 by 1080 display. So that's pretty terrible. If we can't fix the resolution, I'll play on normal instead, and we should be able to clear the Soviet campaign and start the expansion packs by the end of next week. That's my goal. So other than that, we have... trying to think of what else there would be. No, I think that's it for announcements or whatever. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for Red Alert, and Saturday maybe for a Hydra dev stream, depending on how I'm feeling and what else I have to do that day. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, my friends.